yesterday that, you know, I think one big mega trader lost like a lot of money yesterday because he basically the trade didn't work. So you see, and on the 18th of November, let me just open the index chart now. On the 18th of November, you see Nifty was at a pretty high point. Okay, it was about 950, and so the Wednesday. But on Thursday, all global markets opened down. I don't know if you guys remember it, but all global markets took a steep hit on Thursday, and that was the day when Nifty fell by over at least 100 points. Okay, over Nifty fell over 100 points. So while there was the tendency, while everyone want all the contracts were basically planned to expire above around 13,000. So this would have been feasible if Nifty opened somewhere out here. But if Nifty opens so low, you tell me, was there any remote possibility that Nifty could come from here to here when there is no positive news? You guys tell me what positive news could have been there that made Nifty go from here to here? And if you will observe, it was nothing but a classic case of manipulation in the index, where basically all the option contract writers wanted the stocks to expire higher. So all this whole index has moved just to satisfy the contracts of all the big fellows. And you see, again, it tried to do the same thing. And remember, I said a stop loss would have been hit. I said a stop loss would have been hit here. I was talking about it. The only reason why the stop loss actually was hit was because people tried to push it upwards again, but there was just so much of public on it that didn't really know about the contracts and the manipulation, but just felt कि अब ये नीचे ही आएगा. There's so much pressure on it because anyone can see it has come up so high. Then afterwards, these contracts, they all just flipped, and that's why the whole thing came crashing down. So being able to understand what the inner movements are is maybe, I think, one of the major skill I may have acquired over this period. So that's why I'm not doing equity anymore, because I believe that it is all manipulated only to meet the satisfaction of the option writers, where actually the options should move as per the stocks are moving as per the options, because people know how to manipulate equity. Which is why I do not want you guys to go into intraday equity anymore with such unpredictability, such low. We used to look at risk to rewards of 1:1.5, man. Max 1:1, 1:2 was our best case risk to reward. But you can see the kind of risk to reward I can offer for you guys in such a setup, with confirmation on, where the option chain levels are by tracking the puts and the calls. And more than anything, your risk is managed plus insanely profitable. And the most important thing, you cannot manipulate Nifty. I mean, you can manipulate on the day's point. People try to do it, but it is such a big thing. You cannot just come in with some 100 crores and say, okay, I'm going to make Nifty go here. You can't. If you can't do it without hiding your levels or doing it. So if you know the levels, then also no one can mess with you even after that. If you know the levels, no one can mess with you after that. So option contracts cannot be, like how stocks, I'm sure you all of you guys saw, like, when Bank Nifty starts climbing, every stock in the index has 4 times, 5 times, 6 times more sellers, but still stocks are going up, going up, going up. It makes no sense, right? That's because the environment itself is created to fool all equity traders. So when we are looking at such low break evens, we are looking at such high risk to rewards, we're looking at such predictability, we are looking at second confirmations for levels, then why would we not do this? Why would we still do intraday equity? The question is, which is why I was staying out of intraday equity. I said for 1 week, I'm going to backtest this. I'm going to give you guys the levels. And I told you on Saturday, I have a webinar planned specifically for this, because I want you guys to come into this, because this is where the hard money is. Of course, delivery we can do, no problem. I think Omkar was telling me he didn't join the webinar today. He told me, bro, let's also have a long strategy now, because short kitna hi karenge once the market. And he had a point. I mean, the market is bullish. How can you go short on it? But on this, I can go short, I can go long. I am versatile with respect to what I can do. I know my levels. I can manage everyone's risk for them. And it is okay to hit your stop loss even 5 times, because that's like what it costs, $350 to hit your stop loss 5 times. But the moment the trade works, you start making 4K straight up. Are you guys getting it? This is why this thing is so profitable, and this is actually the way to go forward, I feel, for everyone else. Do you guys want to ask me anything? Any doubts, questions? You guys could like unmute yourself.
Hi,
That would.
Zorawar Jahan here.
Hey, Jan, what's up?
I thought this was superbly explained. Thank you. I think the way you're going to take your call, I think now there is just a lot of confidence in exactly how you're moving about with the. I don't understand too much of it, but what I've gathered is fantastic. Well explained. Thank you.
Thanks,
Could
buddy.
you
Thank
give
you
us?
so much.
Could
I'm
you give
excited
me
for
an
Monday.
example of what a trade would look like, say on Monday at around 9:20 when you're going to post? What
Okay,
would
so yeah.
would that what would that look like? Perhaps in an option call or put whatever you like.
So the first thing I would do is about at 9:15, once the pre-opening is done, I will highlight all. I will want you first things first. From now on, all your charts should have the pivot points on it. Okay, that is mandatory. It does not cost you. It does not cost anything. Just please on your charts put pivot points, and in this
And Fibonacci.
ensure they are Fibonacci and they are not standard. Okay. You see, as
Right.
here, go to studies and you find search pivot points, and here it is pivot points, or it is Fibonacci and not standard. That is the first step. Then at about 9:20, I will give you all valid levels where, levels of significance. They are basically 850, 800, 750. All these points differing by 50 are all important levels of significance. Okay. And many
Right.
times, if there is a pivot just near that level, then the stock will focus more on the pivot than on the level. You're getting it? You see, it is more on the pivot. It is focusing more on the pivot than it is focusing on the level. So when you see these, pivots and levels slightly overlapping, then then the not the problem, but where the focus comes in is to know what is a retest and where do we check for a retest. Like, so as I said, I think earlier also, this is not a retest because this went and tested a newer level. So now this is the point where I will check for a secondary test. And the moment it made a second favorable retest, this was higher than this or just about there. That's when you know that this trade is going to break out. Additionally, if you guys have any experience in doing price action also, you would have observed that there's also like a little triangle that is being formed. You see, there's also a triangle out here. And since there is no resistance above the triangle, but there's a big support below, you see the moment this thing broke through the triangle, we had this huge, massive uptrend. We started. But nonetheless, I will not put you into these triangles and all because this will it'll really stress you out. For you, all it concerns, all it would help you would be to. I will tell you. I will first see what I will do. So as you asked for the format, I will first mark out all important levels of significance. We'll refer to them as LOS from now. Okay, a level of significance, refer to it as LOS, and pivots are also levels of significance. Okay, I will mention where we feel that there is a good option chain resistance. I will mention
Right.
that a level has been tested for the first time. So the moment I mention that a level has been tested for the first time, I'll mention which level also, obviously. So in this case, say in the morning we are seeing 850. I have told you 850 level has been tested. So I would have expected you to open a double display chart. So just go to display, click on two charts. It's called multiple charts basically. Just click on two charts. On one, you enter the spot chart. Spot chart is the Nifty only basically. That's the spot chart. And on the other one, if we are going to go short on it, of course, since it's retesting from below, it's going to be a short trade. I think that's straightforward. But nonetheless, first few days I'll explain it more and I will explain it better. So you open the corresponding option chart. So in this case, this is 850. So we open the 850 put because we are going to short it. We open the 850 put. Now when I sense that Nifty made a second retest out here, okay, when Nifty retested and then it rejected. You see, this was a rejection. This is a very fat voluminous candle. I saw it when it happened. So I would have asked you to enter. You would have entered roughly somewhere out here. From experience, you would have entered out here. You would not have been able to catch this sniper entry. So I would have still given you a stop loss at this peak. So that peak on this trade corresponds to this. But since this chart itself went lower than that, there is always some slight amount of difference. I would have asked you to put your stop loss at a particular line itself. At this point, I would have mentioned the stop loss for you. So you would have first known that we are about to jump into a trade. And the moment you jump into a trade, you jumped in somewhere around here. Okay, you have jumped in somewhere
Right.
here. And I would have told you put your stop loss out here. And please be comfortable if your stop loss hits. This is not like equity. You can hit your stop loss even 6 times. It won't make a difference because you can see this, look at the risk to reward, and the stop loss is really cheap to hit. It only costs $80 to hit your stop loss, but it makes you thousands of bucks.
Correct. That's true. Good. That's smooth. Okay. Beautiful.
So this is the structure I have planned out, and additionally, I have sensed a lot of confusion on the groups because my friend, I mean, it's all in good taste, it's all in good interest, but I feel that yes, many people on the groups have a lot of fear of missing out, and then they end up putting their capital into other things which they need not do. So I have basically requested my friend, I am basically requesting everyone not to put their own personal trades, and if you want to put ask it as a question, as in what, see, as your advisor I will also help you with your trades. So you please ask me what do you feel about this. You can always ask me, you can call me up also, but don't put it like a trade on the group, because there are people, as I know, man, I mean, I'm also a trader. I know it can be extremely tempting to jump into opportunities, and that is exactly what we need to cut out on the group. Not more than not more than two profitable trades in a day. In fact, in one profitable trade, if I make you 10-20%, we can just call it a day and chill after that. Why not?
Absolutely.
So this fear of missing out, which I've been seeing on the groups for the past 1 week, because I didn't jump you guys into options on the first day when I found it. I wanted to test it for a week. I wanted to confirm everything, figure out how to manage risk and all, and that's why now when I have it in structure, now I'm asking you guys to get in onto this. So last week, since I was giving less trades, I saw a lot of fear of missing out, and that's what I don't want you guys to do. It's in your own best interest not to jump into nonsense trades and then get manipulated and all that stuff. So I am completely going to stop intraday equity from now. I am not going to give intraday equity trades because the sheer manipulation in it is not worth my while. I will still give delivery trades. I will advise on delivery trades. I will give BTST, but I'll only give it if the market is favorable. If the market not favorable, see, yesterday I didn't give any delivery trade, and I'm so glad because the market was not good today either. On Thursday, I'm sorry, I did not give.
We do MCX now.
That was Friday. On Thursday, I didn't give any trade because I knew markets were not good for Friday. That's
Yeah, right.
exactly. So don't worry. On your first week, we will basically keep your risks small. We will only ask you to do one lot. So depending on what type of option you take, your lot, it will be really cheap to take. You can afford one lot. Even people with 7-8K of can afford it. If you find that you can't afford the lot now, I will give you an out the money option. I will explain out the money and all for everyone else later. Do not worry. Do not focus on it. If I give you a level, you will go and short exactly the option of that level and not any aage piche. Okay, everyone is going to do in the money. Okay, you know what? I'll explain this also. I want people to understand this. So okay, let's take Nifty. Okay, I'm gonna open a spot. I'm gonna open a spot chart. Let's take Nifty. Now, supposing, can you guys just give me I'll some water? Yeah. So now this level out here is, you see this level, this is the 850 level out here. Okay. And say I wanted to short, this level. So I went and I bought a put. So if I bought a put at 850, it meant that I am I am betting that this thing will be below 850 after a certain amount of time. Okay. This is an at the money option. But supposing I had said that I'm going to buy the option at 900. Okay. When this was out here and I felt this is going to go low, I would go and buy the put of this level. See, you can buy a put or a call of any level on the option chain. Okay. So had I gone and bought a put of 12,900, I was still predicting that this thing would be below than this at the end of it. But the very fact that this trade is already so much in my favor, you see, ultimately this is just a bet that this will be below this level and it's already so much below. So this contract would have been more expensive to buy. So getting it, it is already a safer trade. That's why the contract becomes more expensive to buy. I think it's straightforward, right? The more you are beginning to risk, the more is your reward. So since your risk is very less here, because you're saying that this is going to be below this at this point, this contract will be more expensive. So when this thing starts falling, the premium of this contract will slowly will also increase in your favor, but it will be not as fast as if you bought it at this point. But so this is called an in the money option. This is called in the money put. If you're short,
What was the previous one called?
I beg your pardon.
The previous one was called what? Sorry.
At the money.
Right, and that was. I've understood this very well. I've not understood the previous one.
So see, when you are basically at the level, okay, you're literally saying, supposing when go take, assuming we would have taken it here, I would not ask you to get it right here, but this is exactly. See, when you are closer to your strike price now, the premium is, matlab, it moves much faster. Like supposing this thing would have moved like 30%, this thing would have not, if this would have moved 40%, this would have moved about 20% or something.
Right, the speed.
So because why? Because you get an added cushion of safety because you're anyway taking a bet that's in your favor.
Correct.
And when you're doing it exactly at that level, matlab, this is roughly at that level. So this is called at the money.
Okay, these are a little more expensive.
No, these are cheaper.
These are cheaper. In the money are more
Cheaper
expensive.
because the chances of trade working in your favor are less. Now you are only focusing on your analysis.
Taking the right. There's no cushioning.
There's no cushioning. But then comes when you like, okay, you know what? I'm going to make a bigger bet. I'm going to short this one. I'm saying that this thing will be below this.
Yeah.
This is called out the money. So where a typical at the money option would move 40%, the out the money will move 60-70%. And the out the money option is cheaper because you don't have, you're literally against the whole trade, boss. So it'll be cheaper for you to get into that trade.
Okay, super.
Wow. So for you, no? If you don't know anything about analysis, if you don't know ki this is a level, you assuming you don't know anything in the market and you just think ye kuch bhi kar raha hai, you would definitely be scared to take this. You have to literally bet yahan se niche aake niche jayega.
Correct.
So while we are not holding options, see, so suppose Nifty made a straight line from now till the end of the expiry, assuming all these candles, you see all these candles, assuming this stopped happening and the Nifty started moving straight. Okay, so as the option would come towards expiry, say it was a weekly or it was monthly, if the option expired, if you had bought a put at this level, you would have about this much money. Okay, this little difference. This is called intrinsic value.
How come don't go to lunch?
I haven't had lunch.
1 second, add the money, right?
So if you basically if you basically had bought a put at 850 and the option expired at, say, this is about 12, this is 840 or 830 or whatever, you would still have money with you. If you had bought this option, you would still be having money with you. But if you had bought this option and the contract expired above it, you would have not got any money for this. You're getting it because the contract has expired above the strike price you had predicted. But we are not holding options till expiry. We are not, sitting and waiting on them for days. We are literally making 20, 30, 1 hour cut trades, and that's it. We are not holding trades. So this problem of expiry does not concern us unless, of course, it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Thursday, then you want to be careful. But otherwise, it does not make a difference because the effect of time is negligible. So these contracts are much cheaper and they move faster. But since everyone is new to options right now, you'll get more confused what to do. Do not do out the money, do not do in the money, only do at the money at the level of significance I specify. Once we get better at this, once you guys get more confident, once you guys are all sure about the concepts, when you start doing, Please don't go and buy calls instead of puts. Basic beginner mistakes. Don't worry, all part of the game, but be careful. Once you are confident with these things, that's when you'll start shifting to out the money option because they're cheaper and they move much more, much more. Conversely, if you are going to buy a call option, you would agree that if I bought a call at this level, this would be at the money. If I bought a call at this level, this would be in the money. But if I bought a call at this level, this would be out the money. I'm sure you understood, right? Again, it's basically if you're against the bet, in favor of the bet, or you're at the bet. Does anyone have any doubts? Hello.
Hi. So,
Ask questions. Please ask questions.
sorry. Okay. So at the money is going with the bet.
At the money is basically you take the trade at the level of significance it is at. Nothing else.
So can you explain it in the bet analogy you gave? Take the bet.
So see, basically, if you are say this is a match of say RCB versus Punjab, let's take it like that. Okay.
No, you just said something so wrong. You said 3 lines. You said you're at the bet taking against the bet.
Okay, fine. I'll not put it in the terms of match. Okay, so see, if you are buying a call at this level,
Yeah.
okay, so you are basically predicting when Nifty is at 12,750, you are predicting that Nifty will be about 12,750. So this is at the money because it is currently at this point when you are going and buying this contract. You're getting it. But if Nifty was at 12,750 and I went and I bought the call contract of 12,800,
Right.
this would be out the money because this is not, I'm basically saying that eventually at the end of expiry of this. So it is just about a matter of perspective of where the actual value of that thing is and where you are, what trade you are taking. So you should always just at the money. Only if your capital is very less, then you can personally contact me. If you tell me that I can't afford this thing, just contact me. I will put you into an out the money trade. But most of you can afford it. There's only 1 or 2 people in the group who cannot afford. And that too, the problem of affording a trade happens when it's on Friday because premiums are very high. You see, as the contract expires now, as the expiry nears, all the contracts become cheaper and cheaper slowly and steadily because the time for that trade to happen is reducing. This is called time decay. So this is, so toward Friday contracts will start costing like 20 rupees and all, but on Thursday they can cost as high as like 150, 200 per lot. So that's why you will, if you cannot afford a contract on any certain day, if you say ki, bhai, I don't have the money to afford it, just call me up. I'll tell you what else to buy instead. Nothing else. That's it. Nothing else. I mean, don't worry. But if you can afford it, please buy at the money only. If I'm telling you that a level of significance has been tested, say, I'll tell you that level of significance 740 has been tested. You please be ready to buy a 750 ka call option. You cannot buy 740. It does not exist. You have to buy that 50-50 interval. Mein. Please be ready to buy the 12,750 ka call option. When I give the second retest confirmation, I'll tell you to buy it. You please buy it. And quickly, I'll tell you the SL also. I will tell you to buy first because if I shouldn't type buy and SL, you might miss out on time. I would want you to have sniper entries. So I'll tell you to buy it first and I'll tell you to put the SL just after that. So ensure that if you're in a trade, once it has moved up a little bit also, please put that SL and never trade without that damn SL ever. Never ever trade without the SL. I'm telling you, let your SL hit even 10 times. It still won't matter. Your one trade will make you at least 1.5 times of how much of SL cost you would have incurred. So the risk to reward ratios in this are extremely high. As you can see, literally here's a risk. Okay, say, I mean, I want to explain it to you what I mean by risk to reward. So say this was the entry. Okay, the blue line. I'm so sorry. The blue line is your risk. The difference between the blue and yellow line is your risk. So whatever the premium difference will be on the spot on the option chart will be your risk. but your reward is literally from the blue line till like here or here or here or wherever. So it's very high risk to reward ratios. You're getting it? So when you trade, it's all a matter of actually a game of maths. It has to be called something, what is the trading edge? That is your success rate into how profitable you are, and your failure rate into how often, into how much you lose. So if you lose, if you have like even a 60% success rate on something like this, or even if you have a 50% success rate on something like this, that 50%, which is actually less honestly, but still, even if you have a 50% success rate for this, as worst as it gets, when you're right 50% of the times, you will make from here till here. But when you are wrong 50% of the times, you'll only lose this much. So you see, there's always net profitability. So this is called a trading edge. And till you do not trade without a trading edge, I think Jahan, I told you also that day on the call that if I ask you a question, what is your risk? And you cannot give me a number, then you're doing something wrong. If I ask you what is your risk, it is the difference between what you bought it at and what your stop loss is. So if I ask you what is your risk and you cannot quantify it as a number for me, then you have something, something is genuinely going wrong.
Right.
So always define your risk. That's the only time when people lose money in options. It does
And
not.
you're going to give us the stop loss, right?
I will always give you the stop loss. I will always.
So that is great.
And the reason why I wait for second retests now is because, okay, so see this. So as per my analysis, on which day is this? Yeah. As per my analysis on Thursday at 900, this was also a level of significance. Okay. This thing, this region out here was also a level of, just mark it out for everyone who cannot see it. So you see this region was also a level of significance. It was 900, but it just broke through and went up saying, I'm going to do what I want. So till you do not wait for a retest, you never have a way of defining your loss. You never have a way of defining a point of no return in your analysis. You're getting it? If I just jump in here, a point of no return, see, but in this case, you have a point of no return. You see this level is the point of no return. So you have a stop loss for your trade. But in this case, you have no stop loss. So if you have FOMO in these things, if you just jump into levels, you are bound to lose money. So you cannot just jump in. You have to be wise with what trades you take. I will do all that work for you. I will find the level. See, because I'm also doing the same thing for my own money. And if you guys can make money in the process, then it's good. Then it works great for all of us. So I will also confirm a test of a level of significance. I will wait for a rejection of that level of significance. And I will give you a stop loss in case even the trade reverses from now, still you will be safe. Because the way options move so fast, unlike equity, like 5 minutes can mean the difference between profit of 500 and loss of 500. I'm telling you, they can move that fast. So if you do not have that stop loss, no, you will just end up sitting on holding on trades, because all of a sudden that number will be too big for you to handle. You'll be like, I'll wait for it to come down. And that's when the problems start happening, because then it never comes down. So you have to remove that emotional element in you which tells you, no, I will not, I will wait for it to come down. And the only way to remove it is to put your stop loss, because the moment it hits, there's nothing you can do about it. It's hit loss. You can either wait for the analysis to become valid again, as in this case, you see, the analysis became valid again when it rejected the same level. See, it rejected this, but it made a wick. So this was not a level, this could have acted like a support, but it broke through with a lot of volume. And that's why I knew this was worth shorting. And I remember I took this trade also out here, though I was silly to get out here. Had I not gotten out, I would have hit about like 20. I bought that thing for a premium of 22 and it became 140. You have no idea. That was like one of the best trades I made in like my first 3 days of properly trading options. So I have been back testing this. I have been seeing levels, and I want to show you how levels really work. Even in the past, even on this day, I remember we had valid levels to test this. We sensed so the pivot to the level of significance. We sensed the rejection. I waited on it. We sensed the second rejection. Would have gotten in. We put stop loss here. I know the stop loss would have hit. And then we again got in, because again the level became valid, and again we put this thing, and then here we were up 40%. So be mentally prepared to have your stop loss hit max 2-3 times. It does not matter, but do not remove that stop loss, because that's the worst thing you can do. Does anyone want to ask me any questions? Please ask me, guys. You have to ask me questions. I have to clear your doubts.
Yeah, Zoravar.
Yeah, bro.
So you're saying that even if the stop loss hits, it's like only if it goes above, like we should exit the trade, right? Not like not if just hits like partially or something, like as in like, do you understand? Like
I'm not too sure, bro. See, if your stop loss hits,
What is a partial hit?
yeah, okay, so I'll just give you an example now. If the okay, just can you move the graph to where you put the points? Okay, now see at so you gave a stop loss at around 12,950.
12.
Okay, so for right now where you are, where would you give the stop loss?
Here I would have given the stop loss here.
Okay, now see
You would have hit it.
when
You would have hit
when
it.
the,
Yes.
yeah, so it would have been hit. So do we exit there itself?
That's the whole point. When you put the stop loss, automatically you exit it. That's what it means.
Okay, okay. So
Stop
we
loss
are
is
supposed to
basically an
set
exit, right?
stop loss.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that stop
Okay.
loss, the whole purpose of the stop loss is to exit you out before you can start thinking emotionally कि नहीं ये तो नीचे आ जाएगा, because
Yeah.
I'm sure every trader knows that emotions is a big number and it takes a lot of experience to get past it. And honestly, even I haven't gotten past emotions yet. I have a long way to go to like each one of us.
So now when you come to the retest, which is the next point, do you
This
buy
was-
the trade again?
So I would not have bought this one because I would have thought that it took a support at the pivot and it can go up. I was tracking this personally. I remember this because it wicked below.
Okay.
It kept the body above, but
Okay.
kept it again at a level lower than this. But and then it broke through that point through and through and made next wick saying that no, I'm going down. That's when I understood that yes, this is now a valid trade. So technically, from experience, I'll tell you, I would have given the signal to go short on it here.
Okay, so you would have given the trade.
Yeah, and I would have given you stop loss for this trade out here.
Yeah,
Out
got
here,
it.
I would have given it. Out here, yeah.
Yeah, got it. Got it.
So be
Thanks, man.
prepared to have a stop loss hit because you see, now this trade would have made you so much money, you have no idea. So getting it, this trade has a risk to reward of over 1:100, roughly.
Yeah.
So that's a huge movement. And since the fact that stop losses are so cheap, like, you know, 80 bucks, if you exit at cost and if you exit just 3-4 points more, then, you know, you lose maybe at like 150. So it will take a while. I want you guys to only trade one lot. Do not feel bad if you see, you know, like -200, -300 or -400 in loss because options move very fast. So when they move, that +400, -400 suddenly becomes +3,000, +2,000 like that. So where you would feel bad after seeing a 450 loss in equity in options, it does not work like that. 450 bucks in options is a joke. It's literally a joke. It moves SAE. So you don't have to get scared. Yeah, I'm down 450. My stop loss is hit. When it works, it works. You will make 2,000, 2,500, 1,500. It's like that. So when you guys trade tomorrow, only trade one lot. Do not do multiple lots. And please do not jump into trades on your own thing. I feel this will go up now, so I'm buying it. Please do not do that. It takes a while to do this. If you want to do your own analysis, you are perfectly free to do it. But please paper trade it. Do not go and say, "Chalo, I'm buying a lot. Karte paisa banate." No, it might work for you, but it will actually the actual bad part is that it will actually instill this invincible feeling in you, and then that invincible feeling will make you take some extremely irrational decision, and then you'll end up losing a lot of money. So whatever analysis you wish to do, please paper trade it and nothing else. Till of course you feel that you're doing great and it's time for you to do your own stuff as well. But I'm clear on this after the kind of nonsense I've seen on intraday equity over the past 2 weeks. I don't want to do it anymore. Okay, I don't want you guys to do it. It's a lot of odds stacked up against you, ridiculously high securities transaction taxes, extremely slow movement, manipulation. SL hunting, all this nonsense. And you cannot, but this does not happen out here. There's no SL hunting, there's no manipulation. If you know the level, you know the level. Bus, then you're good. So you just have to wait for a retest because not every time a level holds true. Sometimes it just goes straight through the level also. That also happens. So you have to confirm each level with a retest always. And that also gives you a point of no return for your stop loss analysis.
Another question I had is you told about the in the money versus at the money, right?
Yeah. So in the money basically means that, okay, supposing I was thinking that this thing was going to go up from here, which it did.
Yeah.
But assuming I was betting now, either I can buy the option at 12,750.
Okay.
Or I
or at 800.
The option at 12,700.
Yeah, 700.
Or I could have bought the option at 12,800 also, na?
Yeah, but 800 would be a
all
lot.
options will move. If this thing starts going up, even the option starts going up, no matter where you buy it.
Yeah.
But this thing would have costed you more, and it would go up also slowly. So the percentage change would have been lesser. This would have costed you a little. This thing would have costed you less and faster. And this thing would have costed you like peanuts and would have moved like nuts. It moves also very fast. These money options move very, very fast.
Okay. So the trades you're going to give us are going to be more around the 12,700 range, or is it going to be like?
Yes, I will give you only at the money trades.
Okay.
If I tell you that a level of significance has been retested, it has been reached. 1 second, who left the meeting? What people know? Okay. So if I mention that a level of significance has been reached, then of course that level of significance you can also see in a chart, but I still mention it for your sake, that 12,850. So please only go and buy the option of 12,850. Do not go and buy this. Unless of course you tell me that I can't afford it, then I'll put you onto an OTM personally I'll separately help you out on that.
Yeah, perfect.
So if you're anything of 10K, you can afford almost anything on the exchange.
Yeah, that's true. Thanks, man.
Anytime. Guys, anyone else, please ask me questions. No one. Rishabh knows my analysis. Saurabh sir, anything you'd like to ask?
No, taken care of well. Thank you.
Okay, I'm glad. So from Monday, we are only going to trade one lot. We are all going to get, we are going to how options work and slowly how, okay, I'm getting missed calls. 1 second. So I will we will be keeping things really, we'll be keeping your risk, we'll keep your capital per trade really small on the first week. Once you guys get the gist of it, I feel we can make about an easy bare minimum of about 10% a week, worst case scenario. Just, like keeping the things slow so that people don't become too ambitious and end up harming themselves in that greed. So even if we make 10% next week, it is extremely good for us. That's like almost 40% a month, which is also not slow from any angle. But we will, of course, our objective will not be to cut your profits short. Our objective will be to make the most of whatever analysis has to offer, but no fixed numbers. And I feel that if we have good risk to rewards, I have shown you the data, I have personally explained to you, and I feel that even you guys understand what potential we have here.
Great. Thanks so much, Zorawar. I'm going to log out now.
Sure, John.
Thank you so much. It was really well done. Nice meeting everyone else in the group.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye. Take care, buddy. Okay.
Thanks, Zorawar.
My pleasure, sir. If you have any doubts, you can ask me.
Sure. I will.
Call me up. I'll help you out. Okay. All right. Take care.